We're Trent Allie, and insulation is in full swing. Mostly it's for Trent in the bathroom. That's really what this is for.
Wow. That's my wife, guys.
The snow is melting, but mud season has arrived.
Here it goes. Oh!
Brandon!
And we might be having some cabin fever.
Do.
But progress is happening, one insulation bat at a time.
Good morning, everyone. Lika, you're scratching my belly. There we go. Oh, I hope you guys have had a wonderful week so far. We are having a great morning this morning. Just kind of laying low a little bit, feeling like Frank. Feel like I just want to... That's how I feel right now. We've sent Brandon down to Home Depot to pick up more bags of insulation. They said online that they had 25. And so I was like, yes! I bought 15 of them, and Brandon drove down there this morning. And you know how many they had? Whoosh! 0. They had 0 bags of insulation. So we had him go to a different Home Depot, and they actually had the 15 bags. He got it loaded up. He's on his way up here right now. Now, if my calculations are correct, we only needed 13 bags to finish the 2x6 insulation in the house. I got 15 for good measure, and if you buy 15, you get 30% off. 30% off. So like, I think the last 2 are probably free anyways. So he's gonna be here in a few minutes. We're gonna unload those bags of insulation. We're gonna finish insulating the enormous wall, the great wall, as I call it, the first wall that we stood up, and then the other back wall, and then the 2x6 stuff will be done. I think we still gotta do some inside the floor, but after we get done with that, we just gotta do the rest of the 2x4 insulation and then the sound barrier insulation. Then we can start doing the air barrier and all kinds of other stuff. I don't know. The weather's supposed to be really good this week. We've got some stuff going on. Brandon should be here in a minute. Let's get to work.
Easy?
Yeah.
No issues?
2-wheel drive.
Oh,
Don't
nice.
hit your driveway.
All the snow that came last week is basically gone, and more of the snow that's been here all winter is starting to melt.
It's just windy now.
It is. It's not great.
I'm walking down the street on clouds instead of the concrete I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way. Nothing can ruin my day. No matter what anyone does or say, I smile at fools. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way up, and I won't stop, I won't slow down. Steady on my feet, I'm gonna rise up. No, I won't stop, it is my time. Cause I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like when nothing goes your way. So I'm gonna let myself enjoy the fruit from this lucky day. Yeah, I am on my way.
So I don't know if you guys remember or not, but we ran out of the audio cable, the speaker wire that was going to all of the powered blinds. We have 2 left. I had to drill some more, so a little bit more sawdust and shavings to clean up in here. But as soon as we get this one ran, we gotta run this one, or as soon as we run these 2 wires. A lot of people have been really upset with my poor use of run, ran, and running. And I'm doing my best to correct it. So we are running these 2 wires here, and then after we have ran them, after we run them, I actually don't know what's right and what's wrong, and everybody else does. Anyways, after we run both of these wires, anyway, then this room will do a little bit of vacuuming. We're ready for the air barrier. Now, of course, we brought all the stuff in here, so it's like all in the way of the air barrier. But we're gonna finish doing all of this insulation, and then if we run out of that and we don't have other insulation to do, we can start doing the air barrier in here, which is really exciting.
I'm just excited that your beard is slowly disappearing.
Oh, I know, huh?
It's really, springtime is on its way.
Spring is almost here. Once spring comes, it's going. All gone. Sunburnt face all day long.
Yeah, right? No, your sun hat is going to come back, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm almost about ready to get it out right now.
I know, it's nice out.
It's actually really hot. I want to take off my hoodie, but I know once we start doing the installation, I need the extra protection, so
No.
I wish it wasn't so hot. But anyway, Brandon is trying to fish one of the wires down right now. As soon as we get these 2 wires ran, we'll be in business, baby, and then we can start doing the rest of the insulation on the inside of the house. I'm like way more excited to be done with insulation than I was to start with insulation, because
That's every task in this house, babe.
yeah, but insulation is really irritating physically and emotionally.
Alright, we are back to my favorite activity, wearing a respirator and cutting into bags of insulation and installing them in between the studs in our house. This section right here and that section right there is all we have left to do. Unfortunately, it's very high off the ground. Gonna be a pain in the butt, but I think once we get working, we're gonna make quick work of it. I would say hour and a half and we're done.
Time has been so hard on us, my friend. Sun goes down, but we get back again. Trouble is a silly thing, it always ends up breaking, but everything still works out in the end. No matter what they call it, no matter what they want it, they don't know there's no way they'll ever get it. Wind just blows, but we keep on standing.
You guys are making a lot of progress really quickly, which is amazing because this is not super fun. It's hard to breathe, it's hard to talk, it's super itchy, even though it's definitely less toxic than fiberglass. It's still like kind of not what you want to be immersed in for very long. So I'm out here taking a little breather. The dogs are out here while we're actually doing all the cutting and installing. While we're like walking around in the house, they're in the house with us. But as soon as we put masks on and start getting to work, they come outside. And hopefully soon they'll be done and we can move on to something else, because this is definitely messy, and just the fact that you can't breathe very well makes a very big difference.
Whenever I wear this respirator,
Ooh.
it like causes my nose to plug up. It's
Ew.
really annoying because it like presses on my nose and makes my holes really small, and then like snot blocks my nose and I can't breathe. And then I like can't breathe through my mouth either because the respirator is like, I feel really bad for people with asthma.
Could we just wear regular masks?
Probably.
Maybe we should do that.
I mean, it would still need to be like a N95.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be able to be like a surgical mask.
yeah.
But now we're to the point where everything is, 15 feet off the ground. So we just have to do above the stairs, which is really hard because our ladder doesn't really stay sturdy on the stairs. Got to put those bats in at the very top and above that big window, and then like the third or fourth layer of bats, and then the gable end, which you'd think we would just be able to do from the scaffolding, but the problem is the scaffolding platform is really, really in there, to put it lightly, at the very top of the scaffolding. So like the last 4 pieces we could do from the platform. Other than that, the scaffolding is basically just in the way.
You need a harness and a belayer.
I need a trampoline.
Yeah, right?
Just like bounce up there and tap it in.
I remember myself young and restless, a lampoon of youth. So who am I to really teach you anything? Do I know what's true? True for you. But at least I think there are some nuggets found along the way. That, for instance, you must learn to wait for night to turn into day. Night to turn into day. But if your aim is straight, and if you're willing to wait, you're gonna get there. Wait and see. If you can take
happened to the beautiful sunny day?
I know, is it gonna snow? It was supposed to be nice and warm today, actually all week, and now it feels like snow.
We made a lot of progress.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
We would have finished today, but Home Depot sent Brandon on a wild goose chase this morning, and that's not our fault. It's not our fault.
What a guy though, Brandon.
What's up?
Thank you so much.
Is your nose sunburnt?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's raw from that mask.
Yeah.
It's like so red. Yeah. Yeah, my nose hurts too. I'm just really glad that we got as much progress as we did. We have a handful of bags of insulation left. We're definitely not going to run out. We just have that gable top of the wall to do, and it's just like, now I gotta raise the ladder up a couple more rungs and get way up there and get the rest of the bats in there. But I say probably by noon tomorrow, we'll be done with that. We can start doing some of the other insulating. And probably by the end of the week, at least, we're gonna be starting on the air barrier.
Nice.
And once the air barrier's in, the house will be like insulated and warm and soundproof, and we won't have to wear a respirator, and then we can start drywall, which is probably the biggest disaster anybody has ever seen, and I'm really excited.
Good noise.
Yeah, it's the inverter turning on. The problem is that, like, we're plugged in to the grid,
Okay.
so it should start charging the batteries, but the batteries are like below 9 volts again. Same thing we had happen last time. And so now that this is plugged on, it's like basically saying that these batteries are like over, 12 volts. And so it turns the inverter on. But if I disconnect this right now, the batteries are actually probably below 9 volts still, so if I disconnect that, the inverter will shut off again and it will stop charging. But I was able to jump the batteries and basically tell the inverter to turn on and say like, hey, there's more than 9 volts in here, so that the inverter turns on. And then once it turns on, we're plugged into the grid, so it should just charge from there.
We were having this nice relaxing afternoon. It did start snowing and we were kind of hunkering down. We went and did a couple errands in town, and then we came back and the breaker had tripped because the furnace was on in the house because it had gotten kind of cold and turned on, and all of a sudden our batteries were completely drained down, which is not normally what happens in the span of like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Normally it would take a long time for the batteries to drain. So we're not exactly sure what happened. We just know we came back into Terry, the lights wouldn't work, everything was off, all the electronics weren't working, the inverter wouldn't turn on. So luckily, we've had this problem happen to us before. We have a trickle charger and we knew what we thought we could do, but the trickle charger wasn't working. So Trent has actually jumped the batteries using the tractor, which is parked right outside of Terry, and it has worked enough to turn the inverter back on, and now hopefully we're nice and stable for the remainder. We'll see.
Oh my gosh, I am so glad that we got that problem fixed, and I'm actually really glad that we had the jumper cables. It's always better to be safe than sorry, and that actually brings us to today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. They are actually a VPN, a virtual private network. They are basically a company that stands in between you and anyone else on the internet that has access to your information, and they encrypt your incoming and your outgoing information to make sure if anybody gets a hold of it, it's just scrambled letters and numbers. This protects sensitive bank account information, passwords, your social, photos, and basically it just keeps you safe. Also, they have a really cool feature that if you log into like a Netflix or a Hulu or Amazon Prime Video and you use Surfshark, you can actually watch a different library from different countries around the world. It's a really cool feature. If you guys are interested in checking out Surfshark, I highly recommend it. If you don't have a VPN, you definitely need one. So click the link in our description and you guys will actually get 83% off and 3 months free of charge. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Now that that stressful escapade is over, I'm probably going to take a nap. I think we'll see you guys tomorrow. last night, as you guys saw, was quite the adventure. We did get the problem solved. Luckily, we have a tractor that's parked 6 inches outside of our window, so the jumper cables reached in here to get the battery going. I do have to say that that issue with the inverter generally wouldn't be a problem if you're like, you know, your camper or your van or whatever is outside where the sun can charge the batteries. But being inside a garage like this, it just creates a little bit of an issue if you get drained down below a certain percentage. So keep that in mind if you guys are going to get a Renogy inverter and you're going to park your vehicle in a garage. Anyway, I'm really glad that we got that problem fixed. We had a nice night last night after that little spike of stress. We're going to be done with that big gable end wall in probably like an hour, and we just have like a handful of pieces left. The only problem is now I got to raise the ladder up another like 6 feet and like start doing the even crazier stuff. But once that's done, we're moving on, baby. I'm so excited. And also I've been checking the Ecobee like all night, and the furnace is like hardly even running. It didn't run until like 11 p.m. and I turned it off at like noon.
And it's been freezing. It's 27 degrees. It was 16 last night.
Yeah, it was really cold.
So the
last
furnace
night.
should have kicked on, but it was nice and insulated.
Yeah.
Didn't need to.
It's doing really well, and the ceiling and the roof is not even insulated yet. For the first time ever, Brandon rolled up to Home Depot and they had everything that we ordered.
That's awesome.
Even though it was only 7 bags of this stuff. So this insulation probably looks the same, and I don't even know if we'd be able to tell the difference if you opened them up and like held them side by side. I think you probably would. But this is for fireproofing and sound. So these are sound bats that are gonna go in between our interior walls, like the bathroom walls, and it's also gonna go in the bottom of the loft, the floor. So that's gonna stop fire transfer if anything catches on fire, and it's gonna stop a lot of sound. So when you're upstairs walking around, it's not do 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 do. And we're gonna have wood floors in the house, so we wanna dampen the sound as much as possible, because you're always gonna hear the little dog nails like going across the floor.
Mostly it's for Trent in the bathroom. That's really what this is for.
Wow.
That's my wife, guys. Alright, so obviously nothing has happened since we left you yesterday, but just to give you a quick little look, I've been spray foaming the gap in between the beam and the end studs. I just got to spray foam to the top up there and then fill these 2 sides of this gable wall with the insulation. This is gonna go fast. That's literally like 2 layers, and if it takes us an hour, I'd be really surprised. Spray foaming that gap is also gonna be a little bit of a bugger, but
Yesterday you said it would take an hour and a half to do this whole wall.
yeah, I did. I lied. I miscalculated. I just thought it would go a little faster than it's been going. But we're going to get it finished. We're going to get it done right now. And then as soon as we get done with this gable end wall up here, we're going to start putting in insulation bats that are going to go up here into these little rim board zones. And then the fire and sound stuff is actually going to go in the floor up here and in these walls. I would say
An hour.
maybe 3 more days
Oh.
of actual insulation, and then the spray foam guy. Then we can do the air barrier. Well, we can do the air barrier before the spray foam guy, but I'm just saying like 3 more days of putting in insulation and then putting up the air barrier, and our portion of doing the insulation will be complete.
Cool.
And then we get a call for inspection, insulation inspection, and then we get to start doing drywall.
Yay!
We got something magical, pretending that nobody knows, trying to hide but it shows. Lost my sense of logical, think that I'm gonna explode, echoes inside of my bones. Not the brave kind, never dare to take the leap when the chances come.
All right, it only took 4 or 5 more hours than Trent predicted it would take, but we finished the entire wall. Trent and Brandon are the true MVPs of not just this entire build, but of today especially.
Well, Brennan and I are just trying to bust this out and get it done. We did end up getting all of the walls insulated. Every wall in the house that's getting mineral wool has mineral wool.
That's so exciting.
That feels really good, especially because we've really only been doing it for, you know, maybe like 2 or 3 days. So it's really, really nice. Now we have the insulation to do the ceiling in the kitchen and the basement bathroom. You know, we're just gonna hit the ground running and get right after it.
The insulation is almost done, which is incredible, and I'm super excited because this is not a very fun part of the build. It's messy. You don't want to breathe that stuff in. It's just like something that I'm really looking forward to finishing. And in the meantime, I've cleaned up as much as I can around them and helped as much as possible. And I feel like my contributions are best spent on feeding them. I'm really hungry, actually, and I'm excited to go get them something fun for lunch because they've been working really hard. They're exhausted. It's not Friday. We haven't had a Five Guys Friday in a while. It's actually Tuesday, but we're going to make an exception. I'm going to go pick up some burgers for everybody. Hopefully, that's exactly what they need to help them finish up the day strong. Okay, I went a little bit overboard. I got large Cajun fries because I know that's what Trent and Brandon like, and I got a chocolate milkshake for myself, which is definitely not something I normally do, but it just felt like one of those days. You know, you gotta splurge a little bit sometimes. So I'm gonna head back to the house, give these guys their lunch. Hopefully it helps.
Hi.
You wanna eat?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We took a little break. We hung out on the deck. It's a gorgeous day today. And I don't know about these guys, but that was exactly the type of lunch I needed to get me through the rest of the day. It's looking so good in here.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
10:50.
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
There it goes. Oh!
Brandon.
Oh no!
Now he's gonna get stuck. Well, we did have a nice little white PVC pole there. Have a good night, Brandon. Man.
Those need to come down soon anyway.
They do need to come down soon, but I know as soon as we bring them down, we'll have a like 3-foot snowstorm or something crazy, and I'll have to plow, and I'll need those, and I'm just leaving them up until it's like unnecessarily
Till
long
July?
that they've been here, yeah. Well, I am super stoked. All of the walls are insulated. The ceiling of the kitchen is insulated. We have like just some stuff in the basement to insulate, and then the spray foam guys. So
Yeah, that's cool.
really kind of waiting on the spray foam guys, but we do have some other things we can start getting into. Mainly the first thing that I really want to get done is I want to get the main electrical cable pulled from the meter up to the house. So with weather pending, we're gonna try to do that, I think, in the next couple of days, and hopefully we don't regret it. I don't know if you had fun today, because
Oh, so much progress. Are you kidding me? This is incredible. And we got Five Guys. Five
Yeah.
Guy Friday, even though it was only
Actually-
Tuesday.
Five Guys did really make a big difference. I'm like totally happy, not hungry, just relaxed. I
This
can
is
really
your
take a
happy
nap.
face?
This is my happy face. My face is like so raw and irritated from wearing the respirator and having the insulation all over me So I'm gonna go and take a shower, but I hope you guys enjoyed coming along on today's adventure. If you did, make sure you show us by giving us a big thumbs up on today's video. Consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already.
Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Click the link in our description to check them out.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Adios.
Together.